going on, guys? It's your boy Jay Shane, the Keto Road, coming at you with another video. Real quick, I wanted to take a break from the What is Health and wanted to get my boy William on the line. He is the owner and CEO of Uprising Foods. Him and his co-owners are the masterminds behind the bread that you saw in my Fiber Challenge video. I wanted to get him on because I wanted him to talk a little bit more about fiber, the possible benefits of maybe including fiber into your diet, what that might look like, the bread, the quality of his bread, the ingredients they use, their passion. I want you to see that, I'm not just like jumping this bandwagon because they gave me free products or anything. I'm doing it because I genuinely like the bread. I bought some the other day. I got 3 more loaves coming. And I like the idea of having fiber as a control in my diet and figuring out how much fiber per day for you works well for your gut. It's definitely something you should experiment with. And so I hope this video kind of gives you some insight into that, some ways you could approach it. And overall, I hope you find it informative and it kind of encourages you to go against the grain and figure out what works best for you for your ketogenic lifestyle. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you at the end.
What's up, guys? Your boy Jay Shane, the Keto Road, and we are here with William. William, say what's up.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Man, I'm so glad that you came on, man. I'm excited to get to talk with you.
Likewise.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, I know that some of you guys watched my fiber experiment, but the bread that I showed, this is the mastermind behind that bread, that delicious bread. So kind of, William, if you don't mind, give them kind of a quick backstory of like who you are and how Uprising came to be and what that all looks like.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know me or don't know Uprising, so I'm the founder and CEO of Uprising Food. We are a low-carb superfood bread brand. We started a little over a year ago, and prior to that, I was really into both biohacking and building brands for people. And I worked at the huge company that probably a lot of folks know, Procter & Gamble, and I came from the beauty industry, and I used to work on a brand called Olay. And from there, I said, hey, I want to help the masses get healthy. And so long story short, teamed up with some great bakers, my other co-founders, and we created Uprising.
That's amazing. It's so powerful. And I love that you seem to like, you care about the little guy. Like you had this huge job, this job security and this huge company. And you were like, you know what? I want to pursue something that I want to take all these tools and pursue something like I'm genuinely passionate about. And it shows, man. It really does show. So I love it.
Yes, I am all about, my heart here is to help the masses get healthy. I definitely grew up by benefiting from my mom's health coaching knowledge. I grew up benefiting from my dad's entrepreneurial drive and instilling kind of those business skills in me. And what I realize is the key to really helping millions of folks, because that's my heart. There's tons of different motivations that can bring you to, hey, I need to create a company, or hey, I need to do X, Y, or Z. But for me, it's like I just felt like I was on the earth to help people at scale, but really bring healing. And food can create healing. It can create both physical and psychological improvements and benefits. And so I really felt like, hey, Procter & Gamble really helped me learn how to help people at scale. And I could apply what I learned from biohacking and what I learned from that company to be about the masses, and make what I knew and all the habits and things that I had developed around paleo and clean eating, like make that simpler and more approachable, because the average person, is not going to have the time necessarily to research all the things they need to do. So someone's got to make better products for them. Mm-hmm. And I felt like that was my role, is to help out in that way.
No, I love that. And there are companies that just genuinely prey on the masses and use like key words in their marketing, and they're just trying to make a buck. And then you have the people that kind of care, but they're not willing to sacrifice certain ingredients or certain ways of doing things to be able to meet a higher quality or demand. And you have you guys, people like you, like Robert Sykes, Keto Brick, that like put a lot of effort into the quality, and they genuinely care about the consumer. And I think one reason that I want to emphasize that as my viewers watch this is because they know that, they know me as a total carb guy. And so I want them to realize that, like, for me to endorse or to back somebody that creates a bread product that is higher in carbs, like, I'm not doing it just because I feel like, I want to make this guy money or anything like that. Like, I want them to see that you genuinely care, and like, this bread is built to heal people, right? And
100%.
I think that that's something that needs to be emphasized.
100%.
Yeah. So speaking of the bread, let's kind of dive into it, because I know that's what they want to know about. They want to know about the bread. They want to know about fiber. They want to have all these these questions answered. So let's start with the bread. Tell us about the bread. What makes this bread so darn special?
Yeah, so you hit on some of the things that we don't even really like lead with, because the thing that we wanted to do first with this bread is be the best tasting healthy bread. And for us, we come at this from we don't want people to have to sacrifice any more than is absolutely necessary. And we want to raise the bar on the taste side such that you actually enjoy making foods with our product, making meals, making dishes, and you're not, internally going, well, this is passable. We want you to be like, heck yeah, I can't wait to have the next chew, the next bite, the next piece of toast. So we really wanted to kind of raise the standard, first of all, and be taste first, health first. So there was no compromise between those two things when we set out to create the bread.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say health first, what we're also saying is we know a whole lot about health that people may or may not care about that come and eat the bread. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to go ahead and take care of that. We're going to design for that. We're not going to put preservatives in. We're going to be as absolute clean as possible. We're going to invest in extra money in special packaging and expedited shipping and like all this stuff that a lot of people don't really realize have to happen behind the scenes in order to create a top tier quality, top tier tasting product that we can actually get to your door and that you can enjoy and that hopefully you would love to reorder.
Yeah, no, 100%. I love that. So tell us about the ingredients. Like, what goes into this thing that makes it taste so good?
Yes. So our ingredient list, when you first look at it, is very short and it seems very simple. Now, making those ingredients do what they do in the baking process and create a chewy, delicious, soft, sourdough-esque bread is very, very hard. But we only have 8 ingredients in the bread, okay? And this is all real food stuff. So primarily the base of your bread is going to be made from almond flour, golden flax seeds, psyllium husk, apple cider vinegar, and egg whites. So that's going to make up the bulk of your bread. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to have salt, water, and baking powder. And that's absolutely it. There is no other ingredient. All of those you could buy, at a local grocery store. You could get them on Amazon. But it took, just so folks can understand the gravity of the amount of work we have put into this, it took professional bakers who are award-winning, serving high-end, like European-style farm market breads at like the most famous restaurants where we're based in Cincinnati. It took them over 6 months of perfecting and tweaking the formula in order to create the bread that people get now at their doorstep. And these people, like, they're making artistic bread that, it like their DNA goes back generations to Italy. And it's that hard to create the level of product that we are bringing to market for folks. And we're thinking of things that you don't consciously think of. Like, what does it taste like when you or what does it smell like when you toast it? Like, when you toast it and you bite into it, how does it crisp up versus what does the middle of the slice of toast feel like in your mouth? So that's the level of like, wow, we've dialed this in and tested things to know this is what's going to be delightful.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. But it's funny though, you say that, and I remember taking it out of the box and like, I sniffed it and I was like, wow, this smells like bread. This is trippy.
Yes.
And then I put it in the toaster. And it's so dumb because, like, you know, you have keto breads all the time. And while keto breads are good, there's a lot of good, like, you know, homemade recipes out there. Like,
Yes.
they don't smell like bread, you know? And so, like, you kind of forget what that smells like until you smell it again. And so I remember I put a slice in the toaster, and I'm like, I walk in my office talking to some clients, and then, you know, the toaster goes off. And I walk out, and I'm like, dude, my house smells like toasted bread right now. It's just so trippy. And
Yes.
so I remember that. I remember that blew my mind, you know. And like, so the first couple of days I was having fun with it. I had like, I think the first day I had like buttered cinnamon toast, and then the next day I had a barbecue sandwich, and I was like, I can't believe I'm eating a barbecue sandwich right now. Yeah, it was really
Yes.
cool.
Yeah. So obviously we want to start with great, high quality, clean ingredients, and we're bread people first. So first thing is like, we're making you a bread. But then we said, okay, we also want to support the pinnacle strategies that we know work. So, and that most, or not most, but a lot of people are moving to. And so we definitely want to be paleo friendly, but we also want to be low carb friendly. And so, you know, we set out with the goal of how can we get the carb count as low as possible. Now we did focus on net carbs as kind of what we put on the packaging. But we also wanted to, so we have 2 net carbs in a slice of our bread. But we also wanted to be high fiber. And so that's intentional. That it's not a game of how can we get to net carbs. No, we actually believe in the power of fiber, and we believe in the power of keeping total net carbs low. And of course, people are going to, you know, people who are really into their health journey are going to, you know, bring in foods in different quantities that really works for them. And we want to be a tool. But we absolutely, you know, believe in the high fiber ability for folks to use that as a tool in their total plan, whether it be to increase help their digestion, whether it be to feed the good gut bacteria, whether it be to slow down food on its way through. You know, there's so many things there that people might experience. But that's one of the keys that we went for when we designed the bread. We also wanted to be moderate protein. So we didn't want to be a protein bread for bodybuilders. We didn't want to be a near no protein bread like some of the kind of cheaper food profiles on the market could deliver. We really wanted to be low carb, moderate protein, and moderate fat. So that's also an important part of it. We have 11 grams of 11 grams of fat per slice. We didn't want to be high fat because in our bread, we want to be max flexibility. So we know, hey, if you're eating, let's say, a deep ketosis lifestyle, you probably are going to add on enough fats to get to the total macro picture you're trying to get to. But other folks, maybe they just want to be low carb and not necessarily get into deep ketosis, or maybe they want flexibility to come in and out. So we wanted to pack it with some healthy fats that, you know, you're getting from the almond flour, you're getting from the flax seeds, but we didn't necessarily want to be so high fat that all of a sudden there was folks like, nah, this isn't necessarily for me. So you won't find things like cream cheese, or you know, a lot of recipes will ask you to put like a mozzarella or something to create kind of a bread-like structure. Ours was, let's focus on kind of flexibility, adaptability, and let people make the bread into the final meal that they want to consume.
No, I love that 100%. And that's one reason that attracted me to it was I noticed that was, you know, when Kristen, you know, got in touch with me and I went and checked out the website, the one thing I liked is I was like, okay, so I saw it and I immediately went, wow, 11 carbs per slice. That's not super low, but that's not super high either. And like most of it's fiber. Okay, I see that they're pushing fiber here. Okay, this is interesting. I'm going to need it because like I saw that how it's kind of like it was that middle ground, and how like, you know, if you're low total carb or low net carb, you know, being able to take, you know, add or take away carb sources from around your day if you want a slice or you want 2 slices. And then if you want higher fat, throwing butter and avocado and letting that kind of climb up. So I definitely see what you're talking about. One thing I want to get into, because one thing that I'm really big on is, I'm a total carb guy, and I have followers that, that track net carbs, and that's fine. I want people to do what works best for them. But one thing that this fiber experiment that I went on, if y'all haven't seen that, there's the icon. I'm gonna check that out. But I think that there's an ability to control for fiber. So within tracking total carbs, something that has kind of evolved in me, and that's something that I've really shared with my clients yet, because I don't understand it yet just myself. I was hoping even this conversation we're having right now could bring some clarity.
Yes.
But so instead of just saying, okay, I'm just going to track 10 total carbs, going, okay, I'm going to track 20 total, but 10 of those 20 need to come from fiber. And so I'm still I'm allowing for high fiber foods or for fibrous foods that I want, and I can switch that out between veggies and the bread, for instance, right? But that control is there because I have seen benefits with it. And so I kind of want to dive into your brain, kind of share with the viewers how fiber could potentially be beneficial for them, and kind of your advice on how to gauge how much fiber is right for you and when to know when to take the foot off that gas pedal.
Yes. So there's a couple really good points for people to think about on this subject. So first off, I think that one thing that we really care about here at Uprising is that we believe fiber is kind of the forgotten macronutrient. It's not sexy to talk about because the ways that you can ingest more fiber traditionally are not fun. Like either the sheer amount of vegetables you would have to eat to hit a fiber number, or the types of fiber products that are out there, which yes, they have fiber, but the type of fiber matters. Or the amount of, let's say, fiber drink you would have to drink at night to hit a number. Because those solutions are not sexy and not enjoyable, it's kind of a dialogue that has gotten pushed to the back of health culture. We want to bring that to the front of health culture and say, hold on a second. There is a lot of research and a lot of reviewed research around fiber and how it is associated with different states of health. And, it's been a long-standing recommendation in our society, and we can debate why, and maybe there's some nuances behind the scenes around how the food system has been architected, but there seems like there's something here. And a lot of what gets the attention is the fat, the protein, and the carbs. And so we want to say, hey, fiber is a really important thing to take a look at first off. And now once we're in agreement, hey, maybe this is something you should experiment with, then it's now about learning individually, how does fiber affect you? Because it's not a one size fits all scenario, and the way it affects you today might be different than down the road. And that's what's key, is for people to really and you know this, and I'm sure a lot of your followers know this, is health is a journey, and your inner microbiome is a key driver, and it's constantly evolving. So that's the other component of this. We know that that one of the big things, the future discoveries in health, the frontier is going to be in what's happening at the gut microbiome level, and how we trigger and really optimize that environment. Well, we know that there are significant amounts of research around, hey, there's good gut colonies that are fed by fiber, and there's also bad gut colonies that, and you might be in a state of dysbiosis or something, that where fiber is not going to be an option for you. But it's really critical. It's a powerful tool to manipulating that very important part of your body and all the downstream benefits that come out of that. Whether it be the short chain fatty acids that are produced, and what those do to the gut lining, whether it be kind of how food moves through at an appropriate pace and is digested. So long story short, there, we want to raise awareness to fiber has a significant impact on your health. You need to understand what's going on in your gut in order to really understand how to leverage it best. And so once we kind of can help people understand that, then we want to say, hey, our bread has a significant amount of fiber. And not only does it have a significant amount of fiber, but it's a specific type of fiber coming from psyllium husk, and it's a blend of soluble and insoluble fiber. And those both do different jobs in the digestive system. Now, that said, we don't know where you're starting from a gut health perspective. So what we really want to encourage people to do is, I would say, one of two strategies. One, start moving up your fiber intake and really get a feel for, okay, if I ingest 10 to 15 grams of fiber per day for, let's say, 3 days, how do I, what do I notice as a change? Okay. Obviously check how you feel, but like, what else do I notice? Okay, now let me move up to the 15 to 25 ranges. I think the next big jump. Okay, now how do I feel? And do this same experiment, kind of moving from that 10-ish range to the 20-ish range to the 30-ish range to the 40-ish range. Make sure you give yourself a few days. So I would call that the like titrating up strategy. So you really get in tune with, at different fiber levels, what does my body do? Now, what most people find is that they find kind of their optimal fiber range, that their body can handle it at a certain level. And once you go past it, it's not good. And they experience maybe constipation, like all of a sudden everything slows to a absolute grind. They might experience bloat again for some reason. They might feel heavy. They might retain more water weight. So it's not one of those things where it's like more is better necessarily. I really, from what I have done experimentally on myself and from what our customers are reporting, it's really about finding your right range. So strategy A, titrate up, find your range. Strategy B is start at the high end and understand what high fiber looks like. Now, you may end up getting too high and experiencing some of those negative benefits, those negative consequences. But at the same time, you will more quickly understand what fiber does. And then you probably have to back down to kind of where your optimal range is. So that's why we have on our website, we have a thing called the Toast Cleanse that we encourage people to try. Now, that is definitely the way we lay it out, is more based around starting high and then coming back down. But I totally think either strategy is great. And there definitely are indications out there that in our past, and I mean ancestral past, we might have been eating way more fiber. Now, I also would guarantee that our gut microbiome was radically different. And the ability to digest such fiber was probably totally different. So long story short, there's reason to believe or reason to hypothesize that fiber could be more beneficial than we realize. And if we can make it easier to get into the body in a tastier, more delightful way, more people could probably benefit from experimenting with this. But at the end of the day, you really want to be tracking how much you're putting in and associating that with like, wait, what is my body doing differently than it did before?
Yeah, no, I agree that 100%. That's the one thing I don't want people doing, is I don't want them like watching this or watching another video and going, oh, okay, I check net carbs, so I'm just gonna make sure that all my foods are high fiber. I'm just gonna switch to only high fiber foods and like just because like you gotta think there's only two net carbs in a slice of that bread, so they might slam 6 of them. They might have 3 sandwiches that day, and I'm telling you, you're not gonna enjoy that aftermath. And and I love what you said. I think those two options are great. It kind of reminds me similar to what we refer to in a bodybuilding world as reverse and recovery diets. So a reverse diet is slowly tracking up your calories to minimize fat gain and allow hormones to heal. A recovery diet is saying, screw the fat gain. I'm going to gain the fat that I need to gain. I'm just going to jump up to maintenance and let my hormones heal as fast as possible. And so that kind of reminds me of like that low way, that titrating up, and then that just jumping up to the high end and then letting everything kind of balance itself out. So I think that was great advice, man. 100%.
And I would say in my personal body, okay, if I have 5 or more pieces of bread in a day, I would grind, my digestion would come to a halt. My perfect number seems to be about 3 slices per day. So that's around 27 grams of fiber. Let's say I eat a little more, like eat some vegetables. I'm probably coming in somewhere between 35 to 40-ish grams of fiber per day. And that is where, I will say that when you have regular digestion, and what we, on our website, we call it the perfect poo. It's definitely something when you're having it.
Mhm.
But once you kind of get used to that, you don't want to come off of that. And so I have found, like, for me, I get regular digestion. I feel like what I eat gets digested and then expelled really nicely when I'm in that 30 to 40-ish grams of fiber per day range, and I'm getting 2 to 3 slices per day.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's funny. I was telling you before we started recording, and people that have watched the fiber video, they know. Like I had the first like 2 or 3 days was great, and then I had one day where I wasn't tracking my day. I wasn't tracking my day, but I still wanted to make sure I hit my fiber goal. So I had like 3 slices of bread, or I had 2 slices of bread and some avocado before my day even started. So I started the day already at 30 grams of fiber. And then, of course, I ate a bunch of keto treats and, everything. And so my fiber went well over 40, 50, 60 grams. Or who knows? All I know
Yeah.
is the next couple of days after that were just miserable. And then I finally balanced back out. I started incorporating chia seeds and the bread. And so I was making chia seed pudding and I was eating the bread. And those were my only fiber and carb sources. And there was like 2 or 3 days there that I had like that perfect poo sensation. I woke up in the morning at like 6:30. I had 2 sips of my coffee and I went to the bathroom. It happened 3 days straight.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is magical,
Yes,
like
exactly. Yes.
But I'm an idiot because I haven't been eating chia seeds and it's gone away. And so like now like my stomach is like, I'm not doing that anymore. And I'm like, I think I know the answer to this problem. So
Yes.
I do agree. It's like once you do experience that, like that smooth digestion like that, it does you do miss it if it goes away. I will attest to that. And I think also it's interesting because my take on food used to be that like the reason why people that eat like a carnivore diet and a ketogenic diet, really, really low total carb, is the reason they don't go as often is because they have less excess. And I think that there's some truth to that, but there's also some not truth to that. And there are some things that can sit in our gut for quite a while if they don't have anything to help it move along. And I think that the fiber experiment made me experience that. Because like one thing, I'm not trying to be TMI here, but I went to the bathroom once and I was like, I did not eat that much yesterday.
Exactly.
There was something that's been in there before yesterday.
Very common. That's very common when people do the toast cleanse. Is
Really?
they will go, whoa, something like they'll have a cursory understanding of like, okay, I ate about yay volume of food. I kind of go to the bathroom like, about rough amount this much after that. But then all of a sudden it's like a whole lot just came out.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, whoa, where was that? Because it doesn't make sense based on what I just ate.
It's like you're doing food math in your head.
Yes.
2 plates. Yeah, there's only two times I've ever experienced an emptying like that in my life, and that was with this fiber experiment. And then whenever I go carnivore for like, I'll go strict carnivore. About 4 days in, I have what's called the cleaning. It's like a take on The Shining. It's like the cleaning. And like I can't leave within 10 feet of the bathroom. My body's just dumping everything. And so I think this is gonna sound weird, but for someone that wants to try fiber but has had gut distress I'm not a doctor, but something you could try is do carnivore for like 5 days. Let your body dump everything and then start with like a slice or 2 of the bread or something. And that way, you've dumped out all that bad gunk and bacteria, and now whatever there is going to be getting fed that fiber and, obviously some good probiotic foods like sauerkraut and kimchi, like have some kimchi toast or whatever. Do things like that, and like see if you can like maybe rebalance out your gut. That'd be a fun experiment for people to try.
Oh, I could not agree more. I would totally endorse that based on things that we know and what we have seen. And my hypothesis is that we're down the road, we're going to learn a lot more about protocols, like for time periods. So whether it be a 5-day carnivore protocol stacked with a 1-day high fiber protocol, or these shifting of protocols that can really make significant strides forward. We're going to just keep learning more of these on a more granular level, but specifically protocols that have repeatable and predictable impact on your gut microbiome. So what I would say is the thing we're missing is that ability to have like a ketone meter for your gut microbiome.
That would be amazing.
Like if we had that feedback mechanism to know, oh, wait a minute, I do carnivore for 5 days, like you suggested, and before I did that, and during each day, here's how my gut colonies were moving. These guys were going down, these guys were going up. One that was like supposed to be going down was going up. If you had that feedback, you would be able to have much more control over what you're doing to your gut microbiome, and you'd have more clarity on like what is required for me to get to an optimal microbiome state. Now, I would love for this is part of the reason why we really want to raise awareness to this stuff, because we want more companies working on this, figuring out, we need diagnostics people figuring out how do we give people the ability to test this stuff daily. Like, it's not practical for everyone to have a biome test sitting at home. We want to work with Viome and figure out, hey, how do we get people more knowledge around how to optimize and leverage food to do things to their gut microbiome, whether it be fiber, carnivore, mix of, low carb. There's just so many things you can do. And what I think is another thing that I predict is we will learn a lot more about kind of like, how granular we understand different amino acids and like what they do. I think we're going to get to a whole nother level of understanding with fibers and how fibers affect gut colonies. That's just my personal prediction. But I think we're going to go to a whole nother level around how to, really control how your gut microbiome is changing by feeding the right things and not feeding the wrong things.
No, I love that, and that's something that really fascinates me because, I'm not well versed in fiber, but I am pretty well versed in gut microbiome. It's something that I study a lot. It's something that, I studied in depth for school. It's something I studied in depth for my KetoCon talk because I believe in the brain gut connection and its ability to control our moods. And a lot of neurological conditions like body dysmorphia and depression and anxiety are very much affected by the way that our gut is working and how we're biosynthesizing certain, compounds like serotonin. Gut serotonin, while it doesn't create your mood, it allows for the inflammation for passing of nutrients through the blood-brain barrier. So if it's not up to speed, then it's not gonna, you're not gonna produce good serotonin in your brain.
Yes, exactly.
And that biosynthesization is completely dependent on spore-producing bacteria and tryptophan. And so if you don't have the right health for the gut, if you're not feeding the spore-producing bacteria and gut microbiomes in the gut, and you're not giving it more of that to replenish and recycle the old ones, then your gut's not going to be up to standard. And it just bothers me because instead of looking at the nutrients of the gut, they go to medications, and this could be a whole nother
video. Oh, totally.
Totally.
No, we're with you. We're totally with you on this. And the other thing that we've discovered along this journey of helping raise awareness to this is just how many people, especially I think it's especially prevalent in the female culture, just how many women are living with very poor digestion, and it's taboo to talk about it. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, so at my home, my wife and I, she has had some really tough digestion issues. Turns out it's been her whole life. and she's had to endure like, very weird habits in order to, or what would be like weird if you talked about them, in order to manage these issues. But the reality is that because it's not kind of safe to, or it's not normal, I should say. It's not that it's not safe. It's not normal to talk about, oh, I want the perfect poo. Like, how is my digestion? Um, because it's not sexy to talk about those things. There's a whole lot of folks who are suffering from very poor digestion. And when I told my wife, hey, I take a poo every morning, like first thing, she's like, wait, what? That's normal to you? And it's kind of like how you were like, whoa, that clean feeling is like totally, that's a different feeling. Something came out. So that's another thing that we're I wouldn't say it's our number one thing, but we really want to help make it more normal to talk about great digestion. And so that people, especially who there might be ways they can fix their gut or other things they can do, they don't even know necessarily like what is normal, like how should your digestion be, what should your gut microbiome look like. I think there's just so much like just conversation that need to be had here so that we can raise awareness so people can be like, oh, maybe I could do something about this.
Yeah, no, dude, 100%. I love everything we talked about. I didn't even think about that. That's, it's funny. I talk about something I'm an advocate for on social media is body dysmorphia in men and how often it's not talked about because emotions in men is something that's supposed to be suppressed, and it's something I'm really passionate about. A real man is accepting of his emotions, not suppressing of his emotions. And so, you bringing that up about the female paradigm of like, oh, this is like a taboo conversation, when it's really important for how they feel and how they're, it's affecting them in so many ways. And so I really resonate with that 100%.
Yeah, there's definitely there's some heartbreaking situations that people can get into psychologically when it's like, hey, I'm on this pedestal of like perfection, and I'm expected to look a certain way and digest a certain way. Like how much pressure is that there's these unsaid things around like how we perceive women and like what they should look like, or what how their digestion should be. And I think that there's so much that can be unlocked here to kind of breaking down some of those norms and those conversations and those expectations so that people can live more fully.
100%, man. I love it. I totally agree. Man, this has been a great conversation. We can keep going, man,
Yes.
for hours. But where can people go and find out more about you, and your bread and all that stuff? I mean, all the links will be in the description and stuff. So.
Yeah, so super simple. Just come to uprisingfood.com, and then our site will take it from there. Obviously, we'd love for you to follow us on Instagram, and you can link over from our site there. Also, I tell all of our customers, if you want to connect with me directly, you connect with me on LinkedIn. I really care about having direct connections with all of our customers, and really just I want to be there for you. So if there's something that you want to see Uprising do, if there's something we could get better at, if you want another product from us, please get in touch, shoot me a LinkedIn DM, however is most convenient for you. And, our goal here is to serve. So find us at the website, uprisingfood.com, and then we'll take it from there.
Sweet, brother. I love it. Well, man, thank you so much for coming on. I really, really enjoyed the conversation.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
See y'all.
All right, guys, so that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned a lot. And, I really appreciate William coming on. Thank you so much, brother, for getting on and talking with me about this passion of yours. I saw it. I loved it. Love everything you stand for. Keep doing you. Guys, get ready for the next What is Health video. Until next time.